Good evening and welcome to another edition of Before Bedtime. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT, we bring you conversations from people making a difference anywhere on the globe. Tonight, we are traveling to Ghana's Ashanti region. The Ashanti region of Ghana is the second largest city in Ghana after the Greater Accra region, and it is the home of culture, the home of so many things. We are touching base with a specialist. There is an eye specialist. He'll be we'll be looking at his journey into medical practice and the speciality of taking care of our eyes. And then also we'll be touching base with several other things, including what we've been doing wrong or right with respect to our eyes. So as I was saying, this is Before Bedtime. Here, we always give you nuggets to ponder while you take a rest from the day's busy schedule and activities. My guest today, so some people, they will say he doesn't need too much of an introduction, but he himself will agree with me that protocol demands that, especially for a program with a global audience profile like this, we properly unveil him so that everybody can make sense of who we are dealing with. He's a senior specialist and the regional ophthalmologist for Ashanti. The rest of his profile will be on your screen for you to read while we go on with this conversation, because I wouldn't want you to bore you with long talk in these initial stages. Dr. Kwadwo Amoah is my guest tonight on Before Bedtime. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Before Bedtime.
Yeah, good evening, Stephen.
Right. It's good to have you here. First of all, we will put you as a person on the spot. What, first of all, influenced your decision to read medicine in the first place?
I think I will take this opportunity to express my gratitude and profound appreciation for giving me this opportunity.
Right.
I take it as an honor to appear on your program.
We're grateful.
My journey into medicine, from the narration from my mother, I started even before I was born. My mom tells me that when I was born, as a toddler, anytime she was playing with me as mothers would do with their babies, she used to sing songs that portrayed that she wanted me to be a doctor.
Wow.
When I grew up. So I remember she once told me that as a toddler, she used to call me Dr. Mpo Akutu Mpo. I was quite shortish.
Okay.
Even as a toddler.
Okay.
So I grew up to know that my mother, but in the beginning of my schooling was quite interesting. Was very, very interesting. You know, I was that type of a child who wasn't keen to stay in school.
Okay.
I remember on countless occasions I'll be enrolled into daycare. But after just a couple of days in school, in daycare, I would stop because it was more pleasing to me to be at home than to be in school. But what got me interested, what aroused my interest in formal schooling
Okay.
to put it that way, was when I attained about 6 years. No, by 6, I had overqualified to be in day nursery.
Okay.
I was jumped to kindergarten.
Okay.
And when the first exam, end of year exam, was done, I placed second. I was beaten to the first position by a lady.
Wow.
And that is what aroused my interest. Then, yes, I got awakened that, oh, so if I should be interested in schooling, and then I have the potential to be good.
Yeah.
And that's how it all began. So
Okay.
kindergarten was over. Class 1, I was first on many occasions. So throughout my primary school, I was on top. I finished primary school, and my primary school was in the village, my mother's hometown.
Okay.
Usino, in the eastern region.
Yes.
So when I finished primary school, my mother arranged for me to join her in Accra.
Okay.
So in Accra, I went to Carnation West 2 JHS.
Okay.
Carnation West 2 JHS is quite a popular school close to the Carnation Market.
Okay.
The west cluster of schools is sandwiched between the market and then Central University.
Okay.
Central University began from Carnation.
Yes.
So yeah, the west cluster of schools is on the same row as Central University. That is where I did my JHS. We were the second pioneers of the JHS system. So I finished JHS. I obtained 11 once, and then Prempeh College picked me.
Okay,
So
but Doc, let's look at this. We are trying to trace the interest in medicine. Now, what subjects were very easy for you growing up? Primary,
growing up,
GSS.
I was an all-rounder.
Okay.
I was an all-rounder. Quite an interesting point was that I had come from the village and joined city boys and girls, people who had schooled in the city, who had attended international schools and all that. But at the end of our first term, the village boy plays first. And even in Ghanaian language, Accra is Accra. So we're taught Ga. I knew next to nothing about Ga, but I did so well in Ga. And at the end of the first term, I topped the class.
Wow.
So I was an all-rounder throughout my elementary education. From primary JHS, I was an all-rounder. My strength really played out so clearly when I came to Prempeh College.
Okay.
In Prempeh, yes, it appeared that I was more oriented to the biological sciences.
Okay.
I chose the general sciences. So during our time,
yes,
if you wanted to pursue anything biological, I mean, in the biology field, anything that you needed biology as a foundation, the general science students were offered physics, chemistry, and biology. And those who wanted to do engineering would drop the biology and do art maths or elective maths.
Okay.
I did physics, chemistry, biology, but my strength was in the biology.
Okay.
So though I was good mathematically, yes, in commerce. I did so well in commerce. I did so well in physics. But biology was my best subject. Biology I was very strong in biology.
At what point, let's look at while you were at Prempeh College, at what point did, the sciences offer a lot of opportunities, not just medicine. At what point did your decision for medicine firm up?
Yes, right from the onset in Prempeh College.
Okay.
I went to Prempeh where that it was clear that yes, I wanted to go to medical school, and along the line, my uncle, whom I stayed with in Kumasi, wanted me to do engineering.
Okay.
But I was fully convinced that as for me, it's a doctor that I wanted to become.
Okay.
So I didn't stick to his advice. I stayed in the biology class and pursued the biology program till I finished. So before I went to Prempeh, that vision was clear. Okay. That for me, it's medicine that I wanted to pursue.
How would you describe becoming a medical doctor? Were you living mommy's dream, or you were actualizing the prophecy God gave her about you?
It's really difficult for me to tell, but from hindsight, I think my mother's influence played a significant role, because it shaped my orientation and it influenced my interest as to the profession to pursue in the future. Yeah. So what I grew to hear from my mother really shaped because my beginning, as I said, I was an all-rounder. I could have veered into any other profession, but yes, mommy had already been calling me her doctor, and I think it influenced my decision greatly.
Yeah. Now let's look at beyond Prempeh College. You went to the university, you read medicine, went to medical school. What I know, and I'm speaking here as a lay person, not a specialist in your field. What I know is that medical doctors, or those who pursue medicine, are trained as general practitioners before you decide whether you want to specialize and which areas you want to take. Am I right?
That is correct.
Right. Now, let's look at your training at the medical school and your graduation into medical practice. I'm sure you did a bit of general practice before deciding to specialize. Let's go back into that experience.
Yes. So Prempeh was over in 1994. Okay. I should have entered the university in 1995. Who were the second pioneers of the SS system. Okay. But there was a disruption of the university academic calendar. Okay. Those were the years that we had that long protracted UTAC strike. So that put the university academic calendar out of gear. Yeah. And as a result, we had to wait for 2 years. For 2 years. So I entered medical school in 1996. Okay. Though I should have entered in 1995. But it was quite a rigorous selection process. We had to apply, and after we had qualified with the SSCE results, we had to write an entrance exam. Okay. And attend an interview. It's the same process today. That is the process for medical school at KNUST. You write an entrance exam, then you attend an interview.
Okay.
But in those days, it was a new system. The SS system was a new system. So it took very, very good students to have the grades to qualify to enter medical school. I remember Prempeh College, our year when we finished, we finished with about over 80 biology students. It was only 3 that qualified to enter medical school, and I was among the 3. So you can see it was very, very difficult. And it was highly competitive, just as medical school entry has been very, very competitive. So we entered in 96. And we started. The first year was just an introductory year to all the physical and the biological sciences. Then in the second year, we entered medical school proper. And that is where the actual business began, as to whether you are really interested in medicine or not, because it's a very challenging moment. You attend one lecture, and the amount of work you have to do before the next day, it's equivalent to what somebody needs to do for a whole semester. So it was very, very challenging. But yes, God helped us, and the Lord saw us through. So we finished medical school. The medical school program at KNUST, School of Medical Sciences, in 2 parts. The first 4 years gives you a degree. It gives you a bachelor, a BSc Human Biology. So you graduate with that. With that certificate, you can pursue master's program with that. But if you want to go into clinical and surgical medicine, then you have to do the remaining 3 years. So after the BSc, we started the clinical years. We came to the teaching hospital, and then we did the last 3 years. So I finished in 2003. And practiced as a general. I did my house job. The housemanship period is a period where you are introduced to the practice of medicine and surgery. Right? Then after that, you become licensed to practice independently. So after I did my house job in Kwadwo Teaching Hospital, because of my orientation for medical missions, what that means is that I want to combine my medical practice with evangelism. I had the opportunity to meet somebody who had already done some pioneering work with that, and was being sponsored by the Luke Society. The Luke Society is an American NGO that is mission-oriented. And they had helped one Ghanaian to set up a hospital at Kasey. Kasey is about 10 kilometers from Edra. Yes. So after my house job, I arranged to be transferred to Kasey, the St. Luke Hospital. I went there from 2004 to 2006. In my second year there, I saw the need to pursue specialization. And, doing all the permutations and the combinations, I decided on specializing in ophthalmology.
Doc, we'll come to your journey into eye care and everything, but let me take you back a little. The 2 years you had to stay home before admission into the university because the calendar was disrupted by labor unrest on campus. What were you doing? What did you do? Were you involved in some work or some job to keep soul and body together?
Sure. Yes, I got engaged by a budding private school.
Okay.
So I taught at Trinity Care International.
Okay.
It was a private school that was being set up by one
Mm.
man, Mr. Say of blessed memory.
Okay.
So I was one of the earlier teachers.
Okay.
I taught, and interestingly, most of the kids that I taught in that school have grown up, have become women and men. Some of them are taller than me.
Okay, so now let's go into the decision to specialize and why you settled on the area you specialized in.
Yes. So having spent about 2 years
Mm,
in Kase, it was a wonderful time to me. My
mm,
time at Kase was a time of retreat.
mm,
I left the city, got hibernated in that countryside facility,
mm.
offering medical service and combining it with preaching the gospel.
Okay.
It was a wonderful time.
Mm,
It was a very nice time. But I felt that was not enough. I
mm,
had to I had to move forward. And so I decided
mm,
after a lot of considerations.
mm,
I have been of the opinion that medicine alone, spending my
mm.
life to be a medical practitioner alone,
Yeah.
um, is not enough.
Okay.
Uh, a- and therefore, I should pursue a specialty
Mm,
that will afford me the opportunity uh, to combine my medical practice with other things.
okay.
After practical consideration, I realized technology would afford me uh, that opportunity.
Mm,
One, our emergencies are few. Ophthalmology affords me the opportunity to run outreaches into communities.
okay.
It's not only a stationary practice, it's
Mm,
not only a clinical practice. There's a
okay.
component of reaching out to
Okay.
the people.
Mm,
And I thought that the outreach component
mm,
would give me the opportunity to share, to interact with the people in the community and
mm,
influence them positively
mm,
whenever I saw the need to do that. So
mm.
yes, I saw that ophthalmology would also afford me the opportunity to be close to my family
Okay.
because most the practice is mostly OPD based.
Okay.
So you have your evenings to spend with your family.
Mm,
It's unlike other specialties where you can be out of home for a whole weekend and
mm,
you'll not be available for your family. So these were
yeah.
the factors that contributed to my decision to specialize in ophthalmology.
Mm. Before we go into our eyes and some of the things we are not doing right in respect of how we treat our eyes, looking back so many years now, would you say that given the opportunity, if we should go back into time, you will still opt for ophthalmology?
I've enjoyed every bit of it. Yes, I have. It can be very challenging, honestly.
Mm,
It can be very, very challenging. You know how small the eye is.
yes.
So to be a doctor who wants to cure diseases of the eye,
Mm,
it's very, very demanding.
mm,
Um, you must be very meticulous. You
yeah.
must be steady
Yeah.
in your entire personality,
Mm,
emotionally. Every aspect of your being must be
mm,
very steady and stable.
mm,
That is what it takes
mm,
to be a good ophthalmologist. You must have a very high emotional quotient, very, very stable emotionally. So yes, I've enjoyed it, though it has been very, very challenging. To be a good one is very, very demanding, but I've enjoyed every bit of it. I mean, to think of it, people are blind, and people come to you blind, and your intervention restores their sight, and they go very happy. And the joy alone is so rewarding. And that makes it very, very enjoyable and very, very rewarding.
Right. If you have just joined us, this is Before Bedtime that you're watching us. We are in a conversation with an ophthalmologist. He's led us into his journey so far into the profession and why he chose this specialty area. Doc, now let's talk about the human eye. It is one of the smallest, maybe let me say, organs of the body, but extremely significant. So many things go wrong when it is not functioning as it should. Are there ways we deliberately cause our eyes to malfunction without even knowing that we are the cause?
Yes. I say yes. Yes, but to reiterate what you have said, the eye is a very delicate organ, very, very important, because it is the only organ for vision. So it's quite a delicate organ, and it's very, very sensitive. To answer your question, it's a health-seeking behavior. And the health-seeking behaviors of the population that predispose us to blindness. Of course, if the health-seeking behavior is bad, it's largely due to lack of knowledge.
Yes.
So our people are not adequately informed about how to take care of the eye. And as a result, people suffer blindness needlessly, and it can be quite painful when we see some of our people having gone blind because of very bad health-seeking behavior. When they have problems with their eyes, they wander around so many places, unorthodox places, before they come to the professionals who can help them. And sometimes by the time they get to us, the condition, the diseases might have advanced so much that there's not much that we are able to do to help them unless we send them for rehabilitation. So majorly, one of the major factors is our health-seeking behavior. The eye is the window into the body. It is the only organ for sight. So when you have problems with your eye, please, with due diligence, seek care from qualified personnel, people who can really help you. If you do otherwise, sometimes depending on the condition, you may not suffer any harm, but in most cases, people suffer a lot of harm just by that.
Okay, Doc. Is it normal that ordinarily you see maybe somebody who is not engaged in any physical or any activity that, builds up too much emotions around them? You see their eyes are all red when naturally they are not supposed to have red eyes. There are times, personally, at a certain point in the day, I see my eyes are all, I don't feel sleepy. I haven't been engaged in maybe some sort of fight or whatever with anybody. When things like that happen, what interpretation do we put to it?
Yeah, we have many causes of the eye becoming red.
Okay.
So it ranges from very serious conditions to light conditions that are not dangerous.
Okay.
So, for instance, in your case, if at any point in the course of the day, if your eyes should become red, if I'm setting you up as a scenario, then there are two possible causes. Either your eyes become dry because of your work. You are looking through papers and watching, reading from screens, right? So your eyes can become dry and your eyes can turn red. Okay. But in our part of the world, those of us who are exposed a lot to the sun rays, degenerative changes occur on the surfaces of the eye. And some of them manifest as grooves. Some of these grooves, when they get exposed so much to the air, become red. Okay. So if I'm citing you as an example, then these two things are the common causes of the redness that you will suffer.
Doc,
But
the
as I
use of
said,
sun, the use of
the causes are varied.
Okay. The use of sunglasses. You are an eye specialist. A lot of us love to put on sunglasses when the sun is up, sometimes for the fun of it or for the fashion excitement of it, whatever the reason may be. The use of sunglasses. I know some people who have virtually turned that into a lifestyle or a habit. Do they have any effects on the health of the eye?
No. No. If there's an effect at all, from my scientific background, it's rather beneficial. Than it's more beneficial than harmful. This is the reason. The ultraviolet radiations from the sun rays can be harmful to our eyes. And we live in the tropics where for the major part of the day, we have the sun shining. So it's advisable, it's advantageous to have some form of protection for the eyes. If you are not using shades, we have photochromic glasses. The photochromic glasses are specially treated glasses that are able to cut off some of the harmful radiations from the sun rays. So whether people are wearing it for fashion or for whatever reason, it offers some protection from the harmful radiations of the sun. So it's more advantageous than harmful.
I'm told that at 40 years and above, a lot of people begin to have issues with their eyes, and that it is supposed to be normal. Why is it supposed to be normal? I mean, an issue with the eye is not normal in the first place.
Yes. Life begins at 40. The old adage says life begins, life really, life begins to take a toll on us from 40 years. The threshold for many disorders of the body and even diseases, what we will tell pathologies. The predisposition or the risk to developing certain diseases increases when one hits age 40. 40 and above. And the eye is one of the organs that tends to suffer a lot of diseases and disorders. Diseases are pathologies. Pathologies are abnormal conditions. Disorders are just changes, right? That leads to altered function of an organ of the body, right? So the common thing that happens after 40 years is what we call presbyopia.
Okay.
Presbyopia simply means loss of accommodative power. Our eyes function like a camera, and cameras have focal length.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So before age 40, your eye is able to focus on various ranges of vision, from distant vision, intermediate vision, and even near vision. You are able to read without any difficulty, even small prints. But after 40 years, many people, more than 90% of the population, will begin to have challenges with near vision. That is what we call presbyopia. And it's mainly due to loss of accommodation. The accommodation is the mechanism within the eye that enables us to see things that are closer, particularly smaller, things that are smaller.
Okay.
And that power of the eye begin to wane from age 40. So from 40, 42, 43, by the time you hit 45, 46, many people would need reading glasses to be able to read very small prints. That is what we call presbyopia. So in the commonest that happens at age 40. But 40 years and above increases your risk of developing conditions like cataract, if you have a family history of glaucoma, or even if you don't have a family history of glaucoma, as a Black person, your risk of developing primary glaucoma also increases. Okay. So this is what 40 years, the age 40, brings to the table. Wow. As far as your eyes are concerned.
Wow.
So
now,
that is it. That is
Doc, okay, so these conditions you talk about, I mean, these situations, the changes the eye undergoes at for 40. When a spectacle is prescribed for somebody, maybe because of some of these common things you have mentioned, is the person supposed to use it for life, or the spectacle is supposed to correct something because of the medication in it, and after some time he's able to use his eyes without it?
Yeah, the spectacle offers correction. The correction in this sense is not an eradication of the disorder.
Okay.
But the correction is in the sense that when you put on the spectacles, the disorder disappears. But when you take it off, it remains. It doesn't cure it.
Okay.
That is the correction. The correction that is the sense of the correction I'm talking about. So the spectacle makes up for the deficiency.
Okay.
It doesn't take it off. It doesn't take off the deficiency. If you are giving glasses, the glasses makes up the deficiency of the eye. It doesn't eradicate it.
Have you had patients that have come to you? Yes, they have eye problems, but they say they are not comfortable wearing spectacles. What is the way out for such people?
A lot. People have all sort of notions about wearing glasses, and the reasons are not far-fetched. Many people, I mean, there's this popular notion that when you put on glasses, it means your eyes are not good. That is the fact. If your eyes are good, you don't need to wear glasses. But we should not put it, I mean, understand it in the negative. And that is what creates the problem. And it introduces some amount of stigmatization. It is the stigma that people want to avoid. That when you put on glasses, it means you have bad eyes. And that is not true. It's not essentially true. We don't wear glasses just because we have bad eyes. We wear glasses for protection. So if you can see the glasses I'm wearing, you see it shades, right? Yes. It's a photochromic lens. It's for protection, right? Sometimes people put on glasses to improve the appearance for beauty and for cosmetic reasons. Okay. And then we have the corrective reasons. And when people have what we call refractive errors, then they need to put on glasses to correct the error. So that notion to be totally bandit. I don't think we need to entertain it. The white people don't have that problem. It is we Black people, those of us in Africa, who tend to hold on strongly to some of these perceptions. And people have really suffered for it. You know, if a child needs to wear glasses because of a disorder, a refractive disorder, and that child is not encouraged to wear the glasses, that child will suffer a permanent impaired visual development. We call that amblyopia. The potential for vision to develop in the eyes of that child will be stunted. You have a standard potential to develop your vision because failure to correct the error will lead to maldevelopment of the part of your brain that is responsible for your vision. And by the time you grow, your brain might have outgrown the potential of the eye for vision.
Okay. A lot of people also, yes, you say I have an eye problem. I will wear the spectacle, but I want to wear the type or the shape I want. Spectacle shapes, frames, or lenses, whatever you call it professionally, is the one taking the spectacle free to decide the kind of frame or lens or whatever he or she wants. Let's say I want dark lens, or I want this lens, not a clear one. This one say I want clear one. This one say I want this one whose shape is like this. I mean, what are allowed and what is not allowed?
Partly, of course, the patron, I mean the patient, has a role to play.
Okay.
The reason is that he is the one to wear the glasses, so the preference has to be considered.
Okay.
But there's a lot of technicalities that go into spectacle prescription. If we don't consider those things if we don't consider those things critically, it will lead to what we call spectacle intolerance. The person will choose the glasses of his or her choice, but when he or she puts them on, the expected correction will not be met, and even the comfortability of wearing the glasses will not be obtained. The reason is this. There are a lot of parameters that are taken into consideration before we prescribe the lenses. Okay. So these technicalities are based on the condition which we want to prescribe the glasses.
Okay.
So we, the technical people, we have our role to play. And then, of course, the patient also has a role to play. The patient has to express his or her preference. Then we juxtapose that with the technical parameters that should go into making the patient comfortable and then achieving the correction that we desire.
I see. Doc, earlier while you were speaking, you talked about the fact that opting for ophthalmology also gave you the opportunity to be able to reach out to people through evangelism alongside the professional work you do, which is quite a refreshing statement. Not too long ago, there was a major global crusade in the Ashanti region, GCK, that is Global Crusade with Kumuyi. And you were an intrinsic part of a 4-day medical missions that attended to patients of varying degrees of ailment, from eye to ear and nose to dental, general health, and everything. From your angle, I'm sure you attended a lot more to those who came with eye issues. From your angle, what was the experience like, and were there recurring issues that showed up more from a lot of the patients that turned up?
Yes, we made this observation. The eye care team, yes, a significant number of the patients we attended to had they had known diagnosis.
Okay.
Particularly those who had glaucoma, were already in the hands of caregivers.
Okay.
But they came for the screening with the expectation that something different could be done for them.
Okay.
Glaucoma is a chronic eye condition that leads to progressive loss of vision. And when it's advanced, it can be very, very frustrating. Glaucoma patients are one of the most frustrated patients in this world. Because this is what they suffer. They suffer progressive loss of vision to the point where either both eyes go totally blind or one eye goes blind. So they are in constant fear. They are in constant fear of losing their sight.
Okay.
So they constitute one group of patients who move from one practitioner to another. Whenever they hear anything new, they want to go and try to see if they can have their vision restored.
Okay.
So a greater number of the people we saw were glaucoma patients who are already on medication and were being seen in eye centers. We had to advise them to continue. For a couple of them, they qualified for glaucoma surgery. And we did glaucoma surgery for them. But for the surgical cases, the cases we attended to by way of surgery, most of them, about 98% of them, were people who were blind from cataract. And we did the cataract surgery for them. And most of them are very happy. They are seeing and they are back to normal life.
Okay. You know about how many surgeries were performed for eye patients generally?
We did 30.
Okay.
30.
Okay.
We did 30.
Okay. And for the numbers that turned up, was it overwhelming? Was it just within expectation or it didn't meet expectation?
The publicity was so massive.
Yeah.
So to us, it wasn't surprising that we had that number. But obviously, the number was overwhelming. It overwhelmed. I mean, on all the days of the screening, we had in mind to close at 5. But you were there. You saw we were working deep into the night.
That's right.
Because of the huge numbers.
Doc, if tomorrow any of your kids walks up to you that I also want to be a medical doctor, what is going to be your first reaction?
Wow. Yes. Yes, I enjoy variety.
Okay.
And so I wish somebody wanted me to be an engineer.
Okay.
Certain experiences through life have confirmed that yes, I had the qualities to be a good engineer if I had heeded to his advice. But of course, I had been primed by mommy's lullaby in infancy to become a doctor. Yeah. So much as I desire variety, I don't think I have that orientation to coerce or want to have all my children becoming doctors. Yes, if any of them wants to be a doctor, I will encourage him. But I'm very open. I want to have a computer engineer, people in IT, and all that.
Doc, what would you say represents your golden moment all these years you've been in the medical field?
Oh, you are putting me on the spot. Yes, you know, medicine, if you practice it and practice it with all the diligence it demands, you have multiples of this. But there are a couple of cases that stand out.
Okay.
I've had a chance to work on patients who have suffered debilitating eye conditions. And if there was any remedy at all, there was this young girl, school girl in SHS, who had Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is it's an exfoliative disease. It's often triggered by drug reaction. And then your skin peels off, the covering of your eyes come off, your mouth becomes sore, and your genitalia all become sore. It takes a strong toll on the eyes. Many people who get Stevens-Johnson syndrome become permanently blind because the interventions for the remedy carry very low success rates. So there was this young lady, somebody referred her to me. She had been out of school for many years because of this. She had gone blind. The eyes, the surfaces of the eyes had become scarred.
Wow.
And yeah, to the extent that it was difficult for her to be in regular school. So somebody referred her to me. We needed to do a 2-stage procedure. I did a first stage for her in Cape Coast, and then we had to wait to do a vision restoring procedure. Earlier this year, somewhere in January, we were able to gather all the things that we needed. We had to import some of the things from India to be able to do the surgery. And I did a surgery for her, and that young lady is back to school. She's seen, and she's back to school. It's a golden moment that, for us sitting down here in Ghana thinking we are so deprived and deficient and that we can't do anything. If against the background of all the limitations, I've been able to do this, and by the grace of God, is proving successful. I deem it a very golden moment, and anytime I see that girl, I'm happy.
Wow. You have opted for the specialization of your choice. Now you are an eye specialist, let me put it that way. You are also the founder of Sunshine Ophthalmic Consult in the Ashanti region, which is a specialist center for taking care of the eyes. How did the vision to set up that facility come about?
Yes, Sunshine has been an offspring. It's a serendipity. That is how I'll put it. I didn't deliberately design it, but I think it's an offspring of the way I approach my work. I happen to work for a facility in Kumasi here. That was in my early days of my specialty practice. It was a very prospering practice. Huge numbers on the days that I was consulting were doing surgeries and all that. But there were a number of circumstances that got me displeased. My moral sensitivity is quite higher. And I'm sure up to today, they don't know why I resigned. I don't think they can fathom any particular reason for which I resigned, but it was on moral grounds. Not the money, but it was purely on moral grounds. I had alerted them, I had hinted that I don't think this and this and this is right. But, it was business as usual when people running their business and making the monies, sometimes morality is thrown to the gutters.
Yeah.
So I couldn't contain it anymore, and then I had to say quits.
Okay.
I resigned. When I resigned, the patients that I had been attending to started giving me pressure. I didn't have in mind to set up any private practice, any practice at all. But when they realized I had left, the next day they went and I wasn't there, the pressure began to mount. Wow. Where is he? Where can we find him? And the calls kept coming. I had already secured a place which I had in mind to run as an ocular diagnostic center.
Okay.
I didn't have, practice, seeing patients. So I then, because of the pressure, I decided, okay, if I have in mind to develop this place, it was just 2 shops, 2 stores, which I intended to use for ocular diagnostics.
Okay.
Then the idea came that why don't you develop it into an office?
Okay.
Where these people who are mounting pressure on you, when if they really want to access your service, then when they come, you see them in the office. So I christened it office practice. And so that is why it's a consult. That is, you see, it's not an eye clinic.
Yes. Yes.
It's a consult.
Yeah.
Because that is the concept that you just come. It's an office practice. People need me. They come. I do some consultancy work for them, and then they leave. I didn't have anything in mind, a clinic. Yeah. But to attend to people, you have to dispense drugs.
Yes.
People who need glasses. So then the entire idea started evolving. So we eventually abandoned the idea of ocular diagnosis, though it's an integral part of the practice now.
Okay.
Then it became a clinical practice.
Wow.
That is how Sunshine began. And God has been so good to us.
Yes.
God has been so faithful. It's not been an easy journey, but so far, so good. So far, so good. And we give all the glory to God who has been our helper.
You are not, your Sunshine is not located in what I would say the city center of Kumasi, but patronage is never in doubt. I mean, anytime you walk in, you see people in there. How are people able to travel such far and near? I mean, to come there? I'm sure they bypass several of such similar facilities to your end.
You see, Stephen, and a local parlance, you have a dish, a dip, and a ton.
That's right.
At the park.
Yeah.
Quality sales.
Yes.
So it's the quality of the service. People's experience, I think the large number, most of the patients who access our service go very satisfied and they spread the message. So our budget on advertisement is very low.
Okay.
But you see the patronage not bad. We don't advertise ourselves so much, but you see, it's the quality, it's the brand that sells.
My last question. You did 30 surgeries as part of the GCK medical machines for free, or you were paid for it?
Sure. No. Yes, when we did the calculation for the 30 surgeries,
yes,
if we're doing a commercial, if it were a commercial endeavor, that would have generated us about 90,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow. Would you say this is the
Yes, but
secret sunshine is shining irrespective of its location?
From where I sit, I'm not sure, but of course, it will have an effect.
Yeah, I mean, giving
To
to
have
God's
done
work
such,
is immense.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure,
Yes.
pressed down,
Yes.
taken together, and running over.
Mm.
Amen.
Mm.
Give in your bosom. So it's more blessed to give than to
Mm.
receive.
Mm. Mm.
So yes, you are right. It could be one of the significant reasons.
Mm. Doc, thank you for your time tonight. We are truly grateful.
Thank you too. Thank you for
I've known
having
you
me.
for a
It's been a
very long
wonderful
time, but
time.
I haven't been able to engage you like this, where we can talk, relax, and have a little bit of fun while learning a thing or two. Thank you for this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. It's
Right,
well
so
appreciated.
you're welcome. This has been Before Bedtime, and tonight we had the august presence of he's a senior specialist and the regional ophthalmologist in Ashanti. Ashanti region is in Ghana. That's the capital city is Kumasi, for those of you who are outside Ghana. Dr. Kwadwo Amoah, he was my guest tonight. We've spoken to him. He looked at how his mother turned him into a medical doctor before he was born. He told us all that. If you missed that part, just roll it backwards and have a listen. According to him, he was a doctor, quote unquote, in his mother's womb before he even landed on this earth. Quite an interesting story. And he's also taking us through certain little precautions we need to take for the eye. He's an eye specialist. So for him, that very important aspect or organ of the body is dear to him, how we treat it. Very important. Thanks for joining us. And this has been Before Bedtime. We are back again next week with another guest. We'll be talking about something also very exciting, which will be of interest to you. Bye for now.